I'm just going to use the word chaos to describe Game 3 between the Oilers and the Stars. The first was all Edmonton, the second all Dallas, the third pretty even. When you see a game like this, Elliot, what is your big takeaway after a game like that?
My big takeaway is that if Edmonton loses the series, they're going to regret this game.
Yeah.
They have a 2-0 lead after one. They're pounding the Stars. They own their end of the ice, and they just couldn't hold the momentum. Like, one of the things that the panel back in our studio talked about was, against a good team like Dallas, you have to be prepared for pushback. You know that a team of Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Joe Pavelski, Miro Heiskanen, like that kind of leadership and veteran savvy, they're going to push back against you, and Edmonton just didn't handle it very well. Now, the good news for the Oilers is I don't believe that good teams let momentum carry over from game to game in the playoffs. Dallas has proved that from time to time, and Edmonton proved that in the last series against Vancouver. There were times in that series, Vancouver, I think in that series against Vancouver, Jackie, where I believe the Oilers fans thought their team was done.
Yeah.
But they came back and they found a way. But the overwhelming feeling I leave with after game number 3 is that Edmonton, they really hope in a week or a few days, they don't regret the outcome of this one.
Yeah, I do think you're spot on there. That's one where you look back and go, ooh, we probably should have been able to close that game out. Now, the first 2 games for Dallas, it was a lot of the veterans leading the way offensively. Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, Suter had an assist. Jason Robertson wakes up tonight, scores a hat trick. Hintz is back. How much of an advantage do you think that is for Dallas moving forward, that those guys are now feeling good about their offensive game?
Well, it certainly helps. Like, Roope Hintz is a #1 center. He's a #1 center in the NHL, and you're always going to be better and you're always going to be stronger when you have him healthy and ready to play. The other thing, too, about Robertson, though, is I think it's really interesting that he explodes, not only in a game where Hintz comes back, but after a morning where Peter DeBoer defends Jason Robertson. Big time defends him. And you could tell when Robertson walked into the Dallas dressing room after the morning skate, he had this look on his face. It was like, oh, I know what everybody wants to talk to me about. And, you know, that's tough. And he takes it very seriously, as any player would. But he backs his coach. He makes his coach look good. He had the hat trick. And I just think how it's, you know, I think in this day and age, I remember Ryan Kessler told me once, he always hated it when he got ripped by his coach because the fans and media could use it. It almost becomes like weaponized against players. And Kessler's a pretty sensitive guy, so he was really, you know, that kind of stuff really bothered him. But Peter DeBoer wasn't giving us any oxygen today. Anybody who was down on Jason Robertson, he wasn't giving any oxygen. And Robertson, not only was he proved to be right, but Robertson comes out and pays back as coach.
Well, the Dallas Stars continue to be road warriors, now 6-1 in the postseason. As we get set for game number 4 or look ahead to game number 4, what do you think the big story is going into that game?
Well, I think there's going to be a couple of things. Number one is when Dallas pushes back against Edmonton, is Edmonton going to respond better than they did in game number 3? And I think another thing is going to be Stuart Skinner. Skinner had a really up and down night. He made some brilliant saves. He stopped Marchment on a breakaway. He had a big save. I think it was off Matt Duchene right after Edmonton tied it 3-3. So he was really good at when he had to be at points in this game. But that winning goal, you know he's going to hate it. The thing about Skinner is he's proven he can bounce back. And he's going to have to do it again because, look, I think Edmonton's a really good team. You can't go down 3-1 to the Dallas Stars. So it's a massive game on game 4.
Yeah, we talked at the beginning of this conversation about the resiliency, the pushback. Edmonton's going to need that in game 4 if they look to tie the series before we head back to Dallas. Elliot, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Jackie.